YouTubers, time for another video, and I'm doing some sort of record collection update, in which I'll show you some of the records that I've been listening to lately. And I'm going to start with two wonderful nice boxes. I thought of doing a special video for these boxes, but now I think let's be a bit effective instead. I'm talking about this box, Confessing the Blues. And it is an issue that you may be familiar with, has been recently issued. It is a couple of records. Actually, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records with, some of the most famous blues tracks of all time. They've been selected by Rolling Stones, which is a bit nice, according to some, not according to others. And 10% of BMG's net receipts from the sales of this album, with a minimum of £3 UK will be donated to the Willie Dixon's Blues Heaven Foundation. And that's nice, of course, spreading the knowledge and keeping the knowledge alive about blues. This has been issued in many different formats, and this is a bit of a luxury item. If you want it on vinyl in a simpler presentation, I think it's issued on a double vinyl, double album. This is, as I said, a box of 5 albums, or 5 records rather, 10-inch records, and well, good to show you. It's presented like an old-fashioned 78 RPM album, and it looks, even the labels look 78 RPM like. I look at the sleeves like this. It's very, very nice. And then we have an essay by Colin Locke in Confessing the Blues, and many nice pictures also. We got, Robert Johnson, for instance, Mississippi Fred McDowell, and who's this? Big Bill Brunsey, and many others. And most of the tracks on this album are quite familiar blues tracks. I mean, we got Muddy Waters with Rolling Stones, Howlin' Wolf, Little Red Rooster, and That's My Broom with Elmo James. That's the 3 first tracks on the first record here, so very familiar tracks, but all in all presented in a very nice way, and for a price that was fairly alright, I think. So I thought, well, why not indeed, and I'm glad I bought it. And also the transfer quality is very nice. The sound quality is great, even though many of these recordings are very old. And over to the next album, which it was a bit more pricey, but I thought when I saw it, oh, I gotta have it. And I'm talking about Douglas Adams, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Primary Phase. And this is the original first radio series, the first season, that was broadcast in the late 70s, and it's been issued on 3 LPs, with 1 episode on each side. And then very nice artwork, very luxury, a bit of a luxury item. Because, well, I've heard these episodes, and I've had them on CD, I've had them on MP3s and so on, but still, as a vinyl geek, I thought that this was for me. It was a bit pricey though, but of course, now also, I mean, there's a second season as well, and it's hinted in this box that there's a second season coming also on a similar luxurious vinyl box, and well, it's very nice artwork, and the albums are, or the records are in beautiful red vinyl, thus. And the sound is great. It's amazing. It is the original radio recordings from BBC back then, with well, Simon Jones as Arthur Dent, and one of my big radio favorites, Peter Jones as the Book. So a must-have, I think, for the, well, for those of us who are both into the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and into vinyl. But be prepared to pay for it. It wasn't cheap. For a box with 3 records, it was a bit expensive, but still, I don't regret it. All right, let's move on. A fairly new album with one of my female favorites, Candi Staton. Unstoppable was issued earlier this autumn, and I think she's 78 years old now. You cannot really tell that by this image. Still sings wonderful. I would even say I think she sings better than ever before. She has more confidence in her voice than ever before. The tracks on this album, not all of them are brilliant, but there are some really good ones, even though I might prefer her album His Hands from 2006. But this is in no way bad. It is one of her stronger albums of later years. I hope that she'll overcome her health issues. That there's been some, it's been in the news about her health issues, and that she gets well soon, because I feel that we really would like to have some more albums, some more music from Candi Staton in the future. She's wonderful. She's great. She is the best soul voice. Okay, let's move over to, let's see if we can even film this, because it may look a little bit strange. It's like a silvery sleeve. This is a band, let's see if we can get them there, called Baby Grandmothers. And Baby Grandmothers started as a psychedelic band in the late 60s. They recorded one record, 45, issued by a tiny Finnish record label, and that record, of course, nobody really took notice about it back then, but it became one of the big record collectors' holy grails when it comes to psychedelic, early progressive rock. Later, they all would, well, 2 of the members would later become members of the band Kebnekaise that I've been talking a lot about. I'm talking, of course, about Pelle Ekman, the drummer, and the guitar player and leader Kenny Håkansson. So some years ago there was a compilation album issued by with all their collected material, that single and a couple of concert recordings. But this that was issued a couple of weeks ago is their first studio album, and I mean, after 50 years, it was about time to release a studio album, and it's really good. It's a bit drone-like in well, parts of it, but it never really gets boring because of the playfulness of mainly guitar player Kenny Håkansson, who I'm a great fan of his playing, and been for, well, as long as I've known about him. So very nice record, and it's called Mercurius, and the band is called Baby Grandmothers. There are quite a lot of there are some concert recordings filmed with on YouTube, where people have filmed them at concerts with, well, like mobile phones, so you can get some idea of what it sounds like. And the title track, Mercurius, there are films on YouTube that were uploaded back in 2011, so they had some of the songs ready to record even back then, but it's now we've finally seen that album as well. Right, let's move on. Okay, I'm going to show you some records a bit more, well, quickly. Over to some other girl group that I've been talking about many times, and this is the 3 Degrees. I'm sure you all recognize these 3 beautiful women. This is live in Japan on the Philadelphia International label. It's a bit worn, the sleeve is a bit worn, it doesn't have the OBI strip anymore. But the records play fine, and it's a great performance. I particularly like the tracks where they actually sing in Japanese. I think that's cool. Japanese is a lovely language to sing in and to hear great singers singing. So, and it's a bit unexpected to hear this American trio singing in Japanese, but it works fine, and it's a great performance. It's from 1975, I think. Yeah, 75. 3 Degrees, another record to my 3 Degrees collection. Oh, and over to a double album. I've seen I've seen a later reissue of this album on the Music for Pleasure label with a single album issue. I'm talking about an adult entertainment Spike Milligan with Jeremy Taylor live at Cambridge University. And it is, of course, the comedy legend Spike Milligan who talks, reads poems, and, well, he's funny. And when he's not talking, the British singer-songwriter, comedy songwriter Jeremy Taylor, who were, well, mostly active in South Africa for many years, he's playing his guitar and singing some of the songs. And this was later reissued on the Music for Pleasure label, and I've got that issue as well. And that's a single LP, so most of the material from this album, or at least half of it, isn't on that album. This is on the Spark Records label, that you don't see that often. But I guess it must have something to do with EMI, since Music for Pleasure, didn't they mainly reissue EMI material? I might be wrong, but there you go. Very nice to find, and I've never seen this before. And I'm a great fan of Spike Milligan and Jeremy Taylor. It's difficult to find recordings with him. All right, let's move on to something French. Michel de Peche. I've recently started to listen to his old records. This is, well, I bought a compilation album some time ago, and this is another compilation album that contains more or less the same tracks, well, in some cases at least, but some of his most famous songs are here, like White is White, Pour un flirt, Quand j'étais chanteur, and some others. Great singer and great arrangements. Still active, I think. I think I've talked about him in a previous video. Yeah, 2 more records to show, I think, before we quit this. First, a record with some Brazilian music, the Gilberto Gil Extra. Record from 1983, and it looks very 80s, doesn't it? We talk about the font, we have, well, bare chest, bubbles, reindeer, UFO spaceship, very 80s like carnival font, very typical of its time, I would say. But Gilberto Gil is a great artist that I like a lot. I haven't got that many records with him, so I was very happy to find this, and I think it's fine. And finally, this is for the Elvis buffs out there. It's a maxi single from 1980 that I wasn't aware of. It's Only Love and Beyond the Reef. I think it's Only Love was presented as a potential new Elvis hit in 1980. when it was his like 25th year anniversary as a, well, it wasn't really, it was 26, he started in 54. Never mind, it was some sort of anniversary anyway, maybe it was 1981, not sure. And I'm not sure, because I don't have a 100% knowledge, or it's not all in my on my hard drive in here, which tracks are on which albums. But I'm not sure if this It's Only Love was issued and presented for the first time for in 1980. I somehow doubt that, because so many Elvis albums were issued. But it's a maxi single. It's a 12-inch 45, and I haven't got or seen that many 12-inch 45 singles with Elvis Presley. I have a couple of French ones with some of his film music, I think. But I think that's all. So, wow, that was quite effective. And now I hope someone found it somewhat interesting. And I'll greet you. Thank you for watching, and have a great time over there, and enjoy life and play lots of records. Bye for now.